Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend and looking forward to a fantastic week ahead of us. I've got a packed program looking at lots of different things, so let's get straight into it. But before I do, the usual disclaimer, please remember everything in my videos is for educational purposes only. Nothing should be taken as financial advice. Please do your wider research before making any investment decisions. So with that out of the way, I'm going to actually start off by referring you to the Twitter page. And for those of you who like the Wisdom Bites section, i.e. the personal development side, over the weekend I posted a couple of things really. The first one was, you may have come across this story before because I have actually presented this story in one of my videos many months ago called The Chicken and the Eagle. It's an amazing story, and all I would say is that of all the stories that I've actually presented on Wisdom Bites, this is actually my story. Up to 2001, I was the chicken in this story. But after that, although there was an evolution taking place and I was transforming myself from the mid 1990s, but after 2001, 2002, I became this eagle here. And I love this story, and I hope that it'll inspire people to realize where you are and where you want to get to. And really, this is a story about, as it says here in the title, that we often become what people tell us who we are, and we don't need to do that. So I left a quotation here from Jim Rohn that the understanding of self-worth is the beginning of progress. And I'm just saying to people, please decide to work on your self-belief if you really want to achieve the big dreams of life. And then you can watch the magic happen. And it will happen if you really believe in your self-worth, that you've got the qualities, the skills, the attributes, the character, the personality. And please believe me, every single person has this. And only then will you fly like the eagle you were meant to be. Otherwise, you're going to remain the chicken that you maybe are currently. So have a look at this wonderful story. It's only 2 minutes long. It'll transform your life. Okay, back to the charts. So what we've got on the daily chart here, over the last 12 months, this is really the 12-month chart here. If you take it from the top here to the tops over here, and then draw the support line, and then just stretch it down to here. Basically, you've got the encapsulation of the whole chart within this channel. And currently, we've obviously bounced off here. We've bounced previously here. And at the top, we've got rejected here, here, and here. So there are 3 major points at the top and 3 major points at the bottom. So this is quite a realistic chart. But what I want to point out to is, look at this pattern here. What is this saying to you? What we've got is a double bottom pattern developing on a larger time frame here. So this is actually quite bullish because we've made a higher low from here and a higher high from there to there. So while there is in the short term, as I'll show you later on, a danger to the downside, but on the larger time frame, it's actually quite a bullish pattern to take us further to the upside. And always remember, price action in any channel is king. And currently what we've got is a dominant trend to the downside. You can see quite clearly, and along that, we've had these relief rallies along the way. And now we're having another one. Certainly this is one of the bigger ones, but it doesn't detract from the fact that we're in a very strong downward trend here. And I've been saying for many weeks now that this support line here is a very strong resistance line over here. It was quite worrying that a lot of people were getting sucked into this rally here and buying at this point here, while this is very clearly a very strong resistant line here, because what comes as support from such a very strong trend becomes very strong resistance over here. In the longer term, obviously we're going to go much higher than that, but they may have to ride it down now here. And I did tweet about this, that there is a inverse head and shoulders developing here before we even got to the 45,000 there. And I said there, possible inverted head and shoulders forming, need to be aware to keep emotions intact in case we pause here to form the right shoulder. And that was before we even got rejected at this 45,000. So as you can see, that is basically what's been happening here. So we're forming this right shoulder at the moment, which will come down to around about the 40,000 mark here. And if we do break this shoulder here, that will invalidate this head and shoulder pattern here. As I mentioned many times before, we have a larger head and shoulders pattern over here, which is played out to this level at the moment. And I say at the moment because the actual measure of this head and shoulders pattern, if you take it from the top here to the neckline, is around about 39–40%. And if you will measure that from where it broke down, about 40% would take it to around about 26,000. So this still hasn't really played out. And that's why this is a danger sign, people getting taken in with this relief rally that we've had here. But should we get rejected at this point here at the 46,000, when we come back up on this inverted head and shoulders, then there is a bigger pattern like this big head and shoulders playing out here to the downside to take it down much further than here. And then this will then become one more of these fake relief rallies that we got earlier on, because this is the dominant trend and we haven't really broken this trend yet. And getting above the 46 will then invalidate this trend as well as this head and shoulders pattern. The market is trying to tell us something and we must be aware of the possibilities. And my view is that we must always stay neutral and look at only the possibilities of what the chart is telling us, and then work out the greater probability of the outcomes. So you look at all the possibilities and weigh up with your judgment, with your decision, with your knowledge, with your know-how, with your experience, expertise, etc., all those types of things, and come to a conclusion of where the greater probabilities lies. As I've said, it's all about probabilities. No certainties, no guarantees anywhere. A quick look at the S&P index, and this is quite strongly aligned with Bitcoin at the moment. So if this is going down, so it looks to me the pressure seems to be to the downside. And what was concerning for me was that as we're going up this trend here, we're creating these higher lows along the way. And this one here. And with this price action, what we've done is broken the last higher low here. And this is what you call the M pattern development. And once you break this one here, we're really in a bit of a bearish phase coming down. So the next level would be here, 4to60 level. And going on to the weekly chart, we saw a very bearish candle developing here. So what we've got is the gravestone doji at the top of the trend that we've just had, this rally that we've just had in the last few weeks. If we have a closer look at this candle here and do a Fibonacci retracement on it from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick there, and a lot of traders will know this, that if you get a gravestone doji at the top of a trend and the body of the candle is below the 38.2 level here, that obviously increases the probability for the price to go further down. So we'll see whether that actually plays out. If we close below the bottom of this wick here at around about 41,500, that'll be confirmation that this is now playing out to the downside. But if we break above the wick of this candle here at around 45,865, and as I've been mentioning many times now over the last few weeks, that 46,000 is the main level we need to recapture here. And that would confirm the invalidation of this candle here, that we're more likely with a higher degree of probability to move to the upside. So these are the two levels that you really need to keep an eye out for, because this is now developed on the weekly chart. So the low level is 41,600, let's say, and the upside is 45,900. And if you were to measure the effect that this candle could have from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick, so there's about a 9% potential fall here, and that would take it down to around about, and that would be to the bottom of this candle here. So we could expect a $37,000 Bitcoin in the next week or so. So let's see how that plays out. A quick look at the moving averages on the daily chart. As I've been showing you for many weeks, we've broken above this 50 daily moving average here. We came back to find support and we're just about managing to keep above it here. And this is the first time since we've started this strong downtrend that we've managed to get above that. So as long as we can hold this, we'll still have an opportunity to move to the upside. But as I've shown you on the larger time frame of the weekly charts, there seems to be a bearish pattern developing in the short term. And on the swing trading front, I showed you this CME Futures gap here, which formed last week. And as this price was rising, I mentioned this to you, that with a high degree of probability, most of them do get filled, that this is a magnet for this price to come back down. And we're nearly there and that's at 40,935. And it seems so close to it that this seems to be a gap that will be probably filled here. Let's wait and see what happens. So on the swing trade front, as you know, I was accumulating here when we were looking at the candlestick patterns over a week ago. Once we got above the 40,000 critical mark here, we added more positions at this point because that was confirmation that we were going to go more towards this level here from the 34, 35, 36,000 mark, that the first level of resistance was going to be this 45,500. And that's where, as I mentioned to you before, I took the profits waiting for this pullback down here. And currently we're basically waiting for this price range here at around about the CME Futures gap at 40,935 or 40,000 bounce here. And as traders, we've obviously got to hedge our bet against the opposite thing happening. And obviously, if it goes below the 40,000, then we have to take our loss here, waiting for the next trading opportunity. And that's how you have to take a clinical approach to this. No one can win 100% of the trades. And if you think you can, then you're in the wrong place. But to me, there seems to be a strong probability to retest the CME 40,935 and even the 40,000 down here. So let's wait and see. But this will also form the right shoulder, as I've said, to go back up to this 45.5. And then we'll see what happens there with the developments of the price action. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. I hope you found value in the video, and if you did, then please do remember to like and subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. And if you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, then please leave them in the comments below. And if you want to go to my Twitter page, then below any of my videos you'll find my Twitter link down here. So follow me on there. I do leave quite a few bits and pieces, mostly on the personal development side, but also on the Bitcoin developments. If there are any developments in between my videos, I tend to leave some charts there. So until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.